Let's rank the top 10 running backs in college football. I've already done the SEC running back rankings, the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC, just did the G5 a few hours ago, so it's going to be fun and challenging just to make a top 10 running backs in all of college football video. I'm missing a ton of players, a ton of really good running backs are left off this list. Rocket Sanders, new running back in South Carolina. Katron Allen's not on this list. Donovan Edwards just missed the cut. RJ Harvey at UCF just missed the cut. So it's going to be a challenging list. A lot of people are going to have problems with it, but that's why these are fun. Number 10, Nick Singleton at Penn State. 2 seasons at Penn State for Nick Singleton and 2 seasons with 1,000 plus total yards. Had 300 receiving yards last year for the Lions. And this year, it's playoff or bust for Penn State. It's going to be a huge year for them. It's going to be a huge year for Drew Allar's development and a huge year for James Franklin as a coach. So a lot of pressure on Penn State, even though these last 10 years, if there would have been a 12-team playoff, they would have been in it like 66% of the time. So they should make the playoffs, but it's still a huge year for Penn State and Nick Singleton. Number 9, Ashton, the only G5 running back on this list, and he belongs with all these other guys as well. He's at Boise State, just came off a 1,900-yard, 19-touchdown season in 2023, and he's looking to do even more in 2024 as the Broncos look for that G5 playoff spot. He's so shifty, and he's such a good receiver as well out of the backfield. Super excited to watch him and Boise State, Spencer Danielson, and what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. Malachi Nelson at quarterback to compete for that G5 playoff spot. Number 8, Trevor Etienne, the best running back in the SEC for my money. He's the new running back at Georgia. He should get the majority of the reps there. He just came from Florida, where his brother Travis, who is obviously in the NFL, has been wanting him to leave Florida for so long, and he finally got his wish. He's now at Georgia, and at Florida they just didn't really manage him right with him and Montrell Johnson, and pretty much giving Montrell Johnson more of the touches than Trevor Etienne. But now he goes to Georgia. He should be RB1, and it'll be so fun to watch under that system that has produced so many good running backs under Kirby Smart's system. Should be really fun to watch. Number 7, Trayon Henderson at Ohio State. He's going into his 4th year at Ohio State. Feels like he's been there for 8. But this year, the lights have not been brighter on Ohio State in his time there. They really haven't. He's got a new quarterback coming from Kansas State in Will Howard. He's got a defense that is full of NFL talent coming back for another season. He's got a guy that you will see a little bit later on this list coming to be with him in the backfield. So it should be fun. They have so many good receivers. They got a 5-star freshman. And Ohio State is really their national championship or bust. It is a huge year for Ryan Day. And Trayon Henderson is coming off a year where he had 1,200 total yards, 11 touchdowns, and he still didn't even match up to what he did his freshman season. So he is a beast, and so excited to watch him in that Ohio State offense. Number 6, Taj Brooks at Texas Tech. Coming off a huge year for Texas Tech, 1,600 yards and 10 touchdowns. He was just a stud. Did everything they needed him to do on the field. And they had quarterback problems with injuries and just inconsistencies at that position. And this year they do have a full-on starter in Baron Morton, but they will give most of the load to Taj Brooks. That's just how good he is. And in a wide-open Big 12, who knows what will happen. Number 5, Devon at Kansas. Just kind of like Taj Brooks at Texas Tech. Just a wide-open Big 12. Anything could happen in that conference, and Devon is one of the best players in that conference. Last season, he came off 1,500 yards and 2 back-to-back 1,000-plus yard seasons at Kansas. They have huge hopes in Lawrence and Lance Leipold. This is going to be a crazy year to watch them. Jalen Daniels, the quarterback that's been injured for pretty much a year and a half, comes back. So it will be a really fun offense to watch, and they just have so many weapons surrounding Devon. Number 4, Jaden at California, probably the most underrated running back in the country. He spent 2 seasons at California and 2 seasons with 1,200 plus total yards, and last season he had 1,500 total yards with 14 touchdowns. He's just a workhorse for them, and this is a huge season for Justin Wilcox, the coach there, and they just don't really have a quarterback as far as QB1. They have Fernando Mendoza, who played a lot last year and had some really good moments. They have Chandler Rogers from North Texas, who was a stud at North Texas, so they're still trying to figure out the quarterback position. And Jaden those first few weeks will get so many touches while they're trying to figure that out. Number 3, Quinton Judkins at Ohio State, new running back at Ohio State. He spent the last 2 years at Ole Miss and just had a heck of a career at Ole Miss. 3,000 total yards, 34 touchdowns. He had an even better freshman season than he did last year. But last year he still had 1,300 plus yards and 17 touchdowns. 17 touchdowns. Now he goes to Ohio State where he shares the backfield with Trayon, Henderson, and that offense is going to be electric and it's going to be so fun to watch. Number 2, Omarr Hampton at North Carolina, and he's just a hard-nosed runner. 1,700 yards last season with 16 touchdowns, and he averaged over 6 yards a carry with 250 rushes. Just insane numbers. Had 7 games where he had 100 plus yards on the ground. And just like a lot of guys on this list, North Carolina is also still trying to figure it out at quarterback with Connor Harrell, the guy that's supposed to be the future of that program. They still have Max Johnson, the former LSU Texas A&M quarterback, and Jacoby Criswell, who was the backup at Arkansas, but he's from the North Carolina area. So they're still trying to figure it out. And while they figure that out, they will have Omarr Hampton to give the ball to. But at number 1, Ollie Gordon at Oklahoma State. Just a crazy year stats-wise last year. Insane. 2,100 total yards, 22 touchdowns, and he single-handedly turned Oklahoma State's season around. From where they lost to South Alabama, struggled early on the season against teams like Arizona State, UCA, just struggled very much at the beginning of the season. They started handing the ball off to him more than 15, 20 times a game, and that's when their season turned around. Still had some weird losses like UCF and stuff, but they made it to the Big 12 title game. And Ollie Gordon had a 3-game stretch where he averaged almost 300 yards a game. And Oklahoma State has Alan Bowman at quarterback. He's not the best in my opinion. You should see where I ranked him in my Big 12 quarterback rankings. So they will still continue to hand the ball off to him, and I can't wait to see him for another season. But yeah, guys, that is my top 10 running backs in the country ranking. Comment what you disagree with. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of disagreements in this one. I probably even didn't have some guys on the list that y'all would have. So let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe. It helps the channel out so much. Follow us on TikTok, 3&OUT CFB, and on Twitter, 3&OUT_CFB. So I appreciate y'all for watching.